Hi everybody. It's getting a little bit late in the day. I'm just getting down here into the fish room, so we're going to do a simple feeding video here on my 125-gallon New World tank. I am using my wireless mic right now so I can walk around the room and get all the other tanks fed while we're watching this tank. So if you get any weird static noises or anything like that, I'm going to apologize in advance. I have had problems with this microphone before. That's why I don't use it very often. Get that fan turned off. Probably should have done that before I started the video, but I say that pretty much every time I have to turn that fan off. Not a whole lot going on in the fish room today. No projects that I'm working on or tinkering with. Again, I just got down in here for the day and it's already just about feeding time, so probably not going to get a whole lot done in here this evening anyway. But I am planning on shooting a video hopefully in the next few days. I read an article yesterday that really kind of irritated me, I'll say. It's the kind of stuff that can scare and put off new fish keepers, and as far as I can tell, it wasn't founded in any kind of reality or anything. I don't know. It was just a weird article that it just kind of made me annoyed. So I want to talk about that because I read stuff like that on a fairly regular basis, and I almost think it's put out there the same way the evening news tells you to make sure you tune in this evening, or else your family's going to die and everything else. It's like these scare tactics to get you to pay attention. And I very much got the same sort of idea from this article. So I want to talk about that. I am seeing that one of my Marcy rainbow fish has finally passed away. I've been kind of watching that fade for the last week or so. Not really anything to talk about. It's an old fish. It's one of a few that I've got left out of 6 of them that I got originally. I'm now down to 2. I had 3, so now I'm down to 2. Again, not anything I wasn't expecting to see at some point here in the near future. In fact, when I got up this morning, I was looking for its body, but could not find it. But I do see it now, so it must not have been fully dead this morning and still managed to work its way through the bushes and all that kind of stuff. And now I can see it on the bottom. Feeding Butterbean's tank here. I'm actually feeding the guppies right now. I'll come back and feed Butterbean his snails in a few minutes. But I want to talk about my experience with my figure 8 puffer too, because I've sort of changed my mind. I've spent a lot of time over the years talking about how figure 8 puffers really need to be in brackish water, and my experience has shown me over the long term that that's not true. In fact, that leaving him in brackish water all the time was not good for him, and he's actually gotten better since I've taken him out of the brackish water. And so I feel like at the very least I can do is shoot a little bit of update video talking about my experience with the figure 8 puffer in the brackish water. We're also going to be working on my gourami tank here pretty soon. I got the new order of ChemiClean that I was waiting on, so a lot of you remember I'd gotten started working on that tank. I did a small partial dose, and then that was all I had. I was waiting for the rest of a new package to show up, and so that's arrived, and we'll be able to get to working on that here pretty soon. And once we're done that, we can then move on to this tank, which I know you can't see, but is my 55-gallon tank I'm feeding now. And ultimately, now that I'm here at my 40 breeder, one of these days we will be getting to this tank too. Now, all the fish are coming down this end of the tank because they know that the next part of the routine is when I feed them the algae wafers. And they go nuts for these algae wafers, even more so than they do for the flake food that I just put in there. And my goal is to get enough on the bottom so that that white suckerfish can get some. I've got my pleco on the bottom that needs to get, the algae wafers. And then, of course, my tilapia Flo lives on the algae wafer. She's a plant eater, too, and loves them. So it's tough to get them all, down there. These Creek Chubs gobble them up. The silver dollars gobble them up. The shiners gobble them up. Everybody loves these high-carry algae wafers. The chubs are little piggies, though. They just gobble these things up like nobody's business. I think the fact that I put so many algae wafers in here every day is how I still have plants in the tank with all these silver dollars. I get asked that a lot, how I've got so many plants in the tank with silver dollars. And I think that's the reason. I feel kind of bad. I'm down to one of those Notropis species of minnows, the little minnow with the black stripe down the side. I had 2 of them in there, and the other day I found one on the floor, and unfortunately it was too far gone. I tried to revive it, but it was gone. So I'm down to 1 little minnow, and he looks kind of lost and forlorn, swimming around by himself. So I don't know. It's probably not too much longer before he's a snack for one of those chubs anyway. And I will leave you with the final thought about my crayfish, who is now hiding again since I'm in here walking around. But I did see it when I was started feeding, and it looks pretty good. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be in the body size after it sloughed recently. If you're not familiar, the crayfish just shed recently, and so afterwards they usually get bigger. That's why they shed. It's time for them to grow. Its claws came out considerably bigger, and its body is bigger, but it's not, much bigger. Its claws look a lot bigger though, so it looks almost kind of odd how it's got these huge foreclaws on it and kind of a normal looking size body. So one of these days I'll get that tank cleaned up. The glass is all covered in algae and everything right now anyway, so we'll get that cleaned up here in the near future, and we'll do a video about that one. And we'll just add that to the list of all the other videos that I want to be shooting here coming up in the near future. All right, everybody, I got a fish I got to clean up out of my 125. And then I got to go upstairs and get my fish upstairs fed as well. So I'm going to say thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you're subscribed. You never know what you're going to get with me. Hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.